Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about plying with a spindle. Now, I need to make up some more of my own. The reason I like mine is because I can move the, what are those called? The round part of your drop spindle is the part that creates the force that keeps it spinning for a long time. On mine that I make, you can remove it, and that way all you need is 3 dowels and 1 CD section in order to have your 2 spinning dowels and then 1 plying dowel, so that you can just interchange it all, which is fantastic. But today I wanted to show you how to ply on a drop spindle, and I don't have any of mine currently made up. They all sold. So this is a Lazy Kate, and the purpose of the Lazy Kate is to be able to take your spindle. I may have to pull this off. The purpose of a Lazy Kate is to allow you to ply without having to remove all the yarn by hand. So that's a Lazy Kate. See that? And this will spin freely so that I can ply off of the drop spindle itself. Okay? Now today what I have are some bobbins for my spinning wheel, because I don't spin with the drop spindle a lot anymore. I need things to be just a little bit faster than that in order to do production spinning. You can do production spinning off of a spindle, and I have done it before, but as far as the quantity of yarns that I have to make all the time, it's just better to do. It's just better to do a spinning wheel. Now this is the Lazy Kate from my Spinolution wheels, and I love it to pieces because I don't have to have a band to tension it so that everything comes off correctly. So these are 2 singles. These are 2 singles spun in the same direction. So they were spun counterclockwise, and because they were spun counterclockwise, I'm now going to ply them clockwise. So, whichever direction you spun in is the opposite direction you're going to be plying in. And the way that you can tell if you're actually plying in the right direction is to check and see if when you go like this and bring the yarn into itself, like allow it to twist in on itself, does it twist in on itself, or did the 2 strands try to pop open and stay separate? That's how you know that you're spinning in the right direction. So then I'm going to wind on to the bottom. And if you start out with a striping yarn, in other words, if you have 2 yarns that are different colors, it makes it easier to tell which way you're supposed to spin in, because you can see the curve. You can see the twist better if you have 2 really contrasting colors. If it's all the same color, you can look at it for 5 minutes and try and remember which way you were supposed to be twisting, and it's just hard to remember. That, and if you've been spinning some single plies in one particular direction for a really long time, you have that muscle memory, and a lot of times your wrist will try to spin it in the wrong direction just because that's the direction it's been spinning for a few days. So always double check that you're plying in the opposite direction from what you were originally spinning. And you can stand up once you get a little better. If you stand up, it makes it so you can actually drop it. The problem here is that I'm spinning off bobbins that were spun, and I'm at the wrong angle for it to feed easily. If it was on my lazy Kate, I wouldn't keep having to tug at it. It's a little bit harder to do something like an art yarn on a drop spindle, for one thing, because you'd have to have a really big bobbin. Sorry, not bobbin. Your storage space underneath your whirl is smaller than, say, an art yarn wheel. But if you want to do art yarn, a good bobbin, if you want to do art yarn, the good spindle to use is a Navajo spindle, because it already is good for making a chunkier yarn, and the part below the whirl is big enough to store quite a bit of yarn. But it's just a different animal, the art yarns versus traditional yarns, and it was definitely traditional yarns that were used on spindles. And this one has no wobble, so that's nice. It's good to have a spindle without wobble. Sometimes the CD spindles will wobble, and that's because maybe the dowel isn't quite as straight as it needs to be. Again, remember, if after you've started and you've been going for a bit, you bring it together, that's what it should do. If the two try to separate, if the two strands try to pop open and separate from each other, then you've been playing in the wrong direction. When my kids were really little, this was my choice, my spinning method of choice. I had a spinning wheel. I didn't like it very much. I didn't get along with it. It was an Ashford, or was it a Louette? It was a Louette, S75, I think. And I just hated it. I didn't get along with it. And on top of that, I had little kids that when I would have to come away suddenly from my spinning, my kids would get into my spinning wheel. And so I sold my spinning wheel and got into drop spindles instead, because I could be up and moving and take my spinning and stick it up in a closet. I could just stick it up in a closet where it would be safe for my kids. I could take it in a car. And I've actually spun enough on one of these that I've made sweaters and socks and all sorts of fun stuff. So just because your budget is limited doesn't mean that you can't spin some really, really fun things. I like it to have a little notch on the side, because as the bobbin gets fuller, as the bobbin fills up, it starts to not hold on the edge of the bobbin as well. So I do like to have a little nick in the side of the whirl. So there, I'm finished. I have the bobbin full. I don't particularly like these ones with the small whirls, because, whoa. First, because I'm klutzy, but secondly, because you can't get very much yarn on them. I like them to be quite a bit bigger, but I wanted to show you how I use the Lazy Kate. Alright, so I prefer mine because they have that whirl that will come off. It's a little bit tricky. I might not be able to get it on. It's a little tricky to get it in if that whirl, if this doesn't come off. We'll see if we can do it though. Maybe we won't. We'll try it like this. We'll see if it'll work. Hopefully you can see that. So yeah, I made this specifically for my set of spindles. This is my Nitty Notty, which allows me to count the yardage easily, as well as getting it set up so that I can get it wet, set the twist, and let it hang. Okay, but I'm not here to show you the nitty nutty. I'm here to show you how the Lazy Kate works. Maybe I can get it in now. Maybe. If I take the hook out. There we go. Now it'll fit. Okay. So I'm going to take these, put them on the ends just to keep it from coming off. And away we go. Okay, so this is the Okay, so this is the nitty nutty. Now that you've seen how the Lazy Kate works, I'll show you the nitty nutty. This is pulling up and off of the Lazy Kate. Okay. So again, the purpose of the nitty nutty is to make it so you can count your yardage and for easy storage in your hanks. So, mine came undone a little bit on me, so I'm going to put a little more twist in it. Okay. There we go. This is a 2-yard count. So I would hold it in one spot, and then for every string that I see, I'd count 2. 2, 4, 6, 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 72. So this is a 72-yard skein. And I need to go set the twist in it, but just for now I wanted to show you. I don't know if it'll focus. Why in the world was I showing the screen instead of the camera? So that's the skein. Yarn and wool will attract hairs and dirt and lint, and so I always store it up on the wall. Let's see if we can undo it. I always store my yarns up on the wall immediately as soon as I knit them. Or sorry, I store them up on the wall as soon as I spin them. You can tell the ones that I haven't set the twist in yet. I don't know if this one has or not. It should sit like this, open and happy, without trying to twist in on itself like that blue striped one or some of these others. If they're trying to twist in the hank on themselves, then the one I just finished is right there and you can really see it. And when you knit those, they keep that kind of stubborn twist in them rather than laying nice and flat. So there we go.